Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me as always is Matt. Exactly. And Rob. Nice. Hey, we might be back. Not quite sure. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with the podcast, but hey, we're back on it. Let's make it happen, guys. I know, right? The one thing that's always awesome, like if you haven't come and seen the show live, for one, you wouldn't want to miss out on these technical difficulties, and for two, chat is always the best. We just have a lot of fun, and a lot of the chat stuff makes it into the podcast. How did that happen? Again? No. There's no reason for that. No. Let me know if you can't hear the other guys again still. La 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 la. Hey, I remember. It's like you know, not a thing. Okay.
Nope, we're not.
Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me as always is Matt.
Oh man, that was a solid. Yeah, hello.
Yeah, that was a good little.
And Rob.
Hello, everybody.
The best
Hi,
part
Roy.
is when I say with me as always, and you guys just aren't there.
With me as always is silence.
And more silence.
Boom.
Trevor says
it
it's
still
like
silent?
two people watching Roy talk to himself.
Oh boy.
It happens often. Just kidding.
We have sound.
Hallelujah. So
We
guys,
have done
hey,
it.
I was saying it a little bit ago, but if you haven't come seen the podcast live, you don't want to miss out on these blooper reels. It's great.
Boom.
For those audio podcast listeners, you're really missing out on all the technical.
For all the people that thought they were late, you're on time now.
Perfect. Hey, we couldn't start the show until Trevor got in chat, so that's what we were waiting for.
There we go.
Exactly. Hi, Pipe. Well, we got a show tonight. We're going to be talking about culling games for a collection and what games make the cut. But before that, we're going to talk a little bit about some news things. So the first thing I have on here, I talked about it before, but I was a little bit distracted. 5-Minute Dungeon Curses Foiled Again is currently on Kickstarter. This is a small box expansion for 5-Minute Dungeon, a game that I'm a huge fan of. Real-time cooperative, literally takes 5 minutes to play.
5 to 35 minutes, actually, sir.
Yeah, even if people on Facebook argue with you, it still you can play a game in less than 5 minutes. If you don't count the cleaning up the cards afterwards, because that takes a little bit of time too. But the cool thing is this adds the ability to play with 6 players and adds the new Druid Shaman character into the mix that you can play with. And the cool thing about the Druid Shaman is he has cards that you can play that are like infinite of a specific type of icon. So like there's that one boss that like needs a whole bunch of scrolls to beat. If you have a scroll in your hand, you can play it and it counts for every single scroll you would need to beat that boss, which is really cool. So and he's got infinite cards for like each different card type. I think he's got a couple of them. So it's really cool to just be like, I got all of the arrows or all of the jumps, because he just has literally all of them. And then he also has a bunch of stuff to mitigate curses, which is a new thing that's added into this game. Each of the bosses are going to have these 5-card decks that are going to have different cards in them, and one of those cards is curses, which are new events that will stay in play that do things like, hey, you can only use your left hand, or hey, you have to put all of your cards face down and then look at them one at a time to be able to play one of them, which would be rough. Or you can only like say waffles while this is in play.
And that's the best one.
Exactly. I haven't played with the boss that makes you only say waffles, but I'm super excited to do that.
That would be
because-
fun.
I just kind of want to make a game where like that's just
It's
a
like
rule.
Tada 5-minute dungeon.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
It's like-
it's kind of like Tada 5-minute dungeon. So it's pretty cool. And I think it's interesting that you now have like different event cards that are specific to each of the bosses. I would say that they are thematically matching to the bosses, but it's just weird, silly mechanics. So it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Why does the Necromancer make you say waffles? I guess he likes waffles. But super cool stuff there. And then it also adds these artifacts that if you don't have specific types of characters in play, you can play with the artifacts now to help balance that out. Like there's the Wizard's artifact. If you're not playing with the Wizard, can like help you pause time or draw cards. Or there's like the Paladin's artifact. Like if you flip it over, everybody can take all the shields out of their discard pile. That sort of thing. So it just helps you if you don't have specific characters that are specifically good at certain things in the game. You can put those artifacts into play, and then you help you out a little bit that way. Since there are new cards that kind of like tilt things towards being worse with the curses and stuff like that. But overall, it's just a nice little box expansion that just adds interesting new things to your game.
Don't read it, Roy.
I know, right?
I can tell you're reading it because you're like, and then the Quana Fabulum, son of a gun. Like your face was angry.
Nice. Tim's asking, oh, and I also did a Kickstarter preview video for it as well. And I'm in their Kickstarter preview video. That was the thing that Tim like hit me up. He's like, Roy, you're famous. I'm like, what are you talking about? I know I did a Kickstarter preview, and I went and looked, and I just randomly was like, oh, let me actually watch the video. Oh, wait, I'm in the video. And I think I'm like, it's Fast and Furious fun. And like that's the clip they took out of, I guess, my review of it.
It's Fast and Furious fun?
Yeah, literally that's like what I said.
That's so punk rock.
I know it's like in the middle of me ranting about the game. Apparently they just like, this audio clip, we're putting that in our Kickstarter preview.
It's Fast and Furious fun. You sound like a early 90s cartoon commercial.
Yeah, I need my pink hair back. So it'll sell it even more. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. It's like a quote. It's like a quote that you would have
Epic
like on
Gaming
your
Night,
Kickstarter. It's like, oh, let's do the quote.
candidate.
But they literally just cut the quote video out and put that in the video. And I'm like, this is
It's Fast and Furious fun.
Tim says I put my hands on my hips. I would never do that in a video. I'd never put my hands on my hips. I would never lunge towards the camera. Who would ever do anything like that? That's not very professional when you're recording videos.
Bro, you move a lot.
I know. Everybody always makes fun of me. I don't care.
You move a lot.
I'm not going to stop.
It shouldn't.
Hey man, you be animated.
Somebody's got to
You
get the
you
hype.
do you.
I mean, if you want to watch people sit still and very
If they do, they can watch other people.
You want to watch a bunch of people who are me and Rob's size sit down and talk about games in a chair, sort of like this. Feel free to watch most anybody else's stuff.
Hey, however, though, me and Matt, we're beautiful. So anybody who's thinking that was a negative, it's not, and screw you. We are gorgeous, handsome, wood-smelling, scented, beautiful men.
Yeah.
And one day a woman in Matt's life is going to appreciate that. One day she's gonna be all over that. She's gonna climb that tree and she's not gonna come down.
what are we even talking about right now? I'm
Just handsome.
I'm
No,
slightly
Tim
terrified
said
and
full
confused.
pelvic thrust in the chat. So I'm just
talking about my tree. That's all. So that's my takeaway for the evening.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's 5-minute Dungeon Curses foiled again. So if you have the base game, check it out. If you don't have the base game, check it out. Also
yeah, and it's cheap too. Like if you have the base game and you want to upgrade it, $20, or if you missed out on the first Kickstarter promos, $25 for the additional stuff and the first Kickstarter promo. So it's very, very, very affordable for Kickstarter. It's
or if you haven't seen 5-minute Dungeon at all, you can just get the whole thing, and it's a great it's like a filler speed cooperative game, because that's what I use it as. I just like play one game back to back. So
Yeah.
nice. Awesome. Well, the next thing I want to talk about is we've been talking about this Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea contest for forever. Well, it finally ended, and David Ginsburg is the winner. Hype! I made a video about it announcing the winner, and super excited, drew that, and then promptly spilt butter garlic sauce all over my copy of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Yeah.
Were you there, Rob?
Yes, I was there, and it wasn't you that spilt it.
I know. I was getting real depressed real quick. But hey, who else has butter garlic scented Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea?
Nobody.
No one.
You are the winner.
Skype is such an awful program.
I know,
Anywho.
right? I don't even know if I want to like tail the tale, but good times. Hype!
Hey, Rodriguez, you were not late. We just started 4 minutes ago.
Hey, you've missed nothing.
Hey-o, technical difficulties.
Good
and no,
times,
Tim,
good
you did not
times.
win. You didn't even go to the CMON Expo.
Hey,
You
Tim.
don't-
Matt's like super frozen.
Matt is super frozen.
Hey, that is a beautiful face. Hey, it's working now.
Okay.
Oh, Roy, I got to go to Matt's house.
Oh, yeah?
Saw some beautiful pictures of Matt. I'm talking about gorgeous pictures of Matthew.
Oh, yeah?
Of a young, beardless Matthew, just so excited.
What,
He hasn't
what is a
been
beardless
tainted by
Matthew
life
even
yet.
like?
And if he has, it's at the early stages. He's just like so happy. Oh, I loved it.
Back before life crushed me.
Back before like major responsibilities or anything, just like, hey man,
Yeah.
like the thumbs up pictures and stuff. I don't think there was a thumbs up in any of them, but still,
I
he
went to
looked
Matt's
like
house. He didn't show me all his kids' album pictures.
That's because they're on the wall. Rob's just looking at everything, trying to assess value.
I was too busy looking at remodeled bathrooms, I guess.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. And since we were talking about Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, they just announced the Pestilence expansion for
I'm
Heroes
very
of
excited
Land,
for
Air,
this.
and Sea, which looks amazing.
Is this the one with the birds?
Yes. So
And the
Pestilence
bees.
adds you have Heroes of Land, but now you're getting Air and Sea because there are bird folk and merfolk in the expansion. And we're going to
That
have
looks so
Gameling
good.
Games on the podcast next week, which is actually the day that the Kickstarter launches, to talk about it. So I'm super excited about that.
Man, and here I was going to say, guys, go check it out because the stuff they're pulling off for it looks really cool, but it's not out yet. So, you know,
But
hey,
they've kind of like
check-
spoiled
check it out
everything
next
that they,
week.
or a bunch of the stuff that they're pulling off for it. So hey, we can talk about that for a second.
And that's crazy. From last week where I was like, the game's okay. That actually makes me really want to play it again just because of the stuff they're doing with it. It looks really super neat.
Yeah,
It
they
is
have,
really
like, this
cool.
giant floating like continent in the middle of the board now. So
I love that idea.
and you can push it up to 7 players. That would be crazy. I think I would play a 7-player game, but I think it's really cool because now you can play a 5-player game on the 4-player board. You just put the floating continent in the middle. And with the merfolk, there's like this transparent plastic thing that you put over one of the continents to make it like the sunken continent, which looks super super crazy too. So I'm super excited to
That's
get the
awesome.
lowdown on all the new stuff. I'm a pretty big fan of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. So they had a picture on Board Game Geek that was like really high resolution. So I was like, zoom in, read all the special abilities on the characters and stuff like that. So, because I was
Oh,
super
man.
excited. Like when they did the Kickstarter last time, I got to do the preview for it, but they don't have preview copies or anything like that this time. So they're just launching it. So I was like, but I gotta know what the characters do. What do they do? So I'm definitely excited to see that Kickstarter and see everything. There's also supposed to be like new spells and new expiration tokens and just more new stuff. So I like that game if you can't tell. Some would
It's
say
a fun game. I'm excited to.
some would say
wanna
I
play it
like it
again.
even more than Mansions of Madness.
You like it more than Mansions?
Yes. Remember last week you got so mad at me because I voted for it instead of Mansions? Now Rob's mad. Rob's like, forget that game.
I mean, it's a good game, but it's definitely not better than Mansions of Madness, and I'll
Get
say
outta
that
here,
to their
Rob.
face next week. I'll say it. I'll say it on the chat next week.
boy.
Oh, thank you guys for making a second-rated game. tier 2 rated game.
If only it
must
was
be
as
nice.
good as Mansions of Madness.
Yeah.
I feel like the gaming guys are nice enough to be like, oh, hey man, the fact that it's in the same category as Mansions of Madness is like primo.
It's
Sir-
so funny because
Sir,
like,
it's not in the
they're
same
not
category.
in the same. They're not. The games are nothing alike. Like not even a little bit. Like
But I
there's
feel
nothing
like
that
Heroes is not
compares
even
those
on the
games
level
together.
of Mansions.
Every time we do top tens or anything like that, where it's just like a free for all, we always end up with stuff like this, where it's just like, oh hey, look at you, oh wow, it's the same. It's always
It's
Blood
my
Rage,
favorite game.
Mansions of
Like if we're
Madness.
gonna do a top 10, where it's like favorite game, I'm
Mhm.
gonna vote for it. Or if we're doing a top 10 of like a certain style, now I'll say for a 4X, it's probably my Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is probably my favorite 4X.
Now I'm gonna fight you. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'd rather play Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea than I'd play TI4 or anything like that.
Yeah, I was yelling at Nathan. I was like, because I may have seen a little bit of info about this expansion a while ago, but I was like, dude, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to like make this my favorite game? Stop it.
Yeah, like it's good, but it's not my favorite game overall.
I just
and
like,
I don't know. I mean, there's
it's
super
actually,
sweet
it's actually
guys.
got
But
a lot of Euro-y elements to it, which I think is kind of interesting. But I just love how everything comes together. Good times.
yeah, it's a good game.
But
I
hey,
mean, I'm
let's-
gonna back it. I already backed
yeah,
the
for
first
sure.
one. So.
But hey, we can talk a little bit about what we've been playing. I'm excited to hear about what Matt's been playing because I know Matt's got to play some games that he hasn't played before, and I'm pretty excited to hear what he thinks about it.
Oh no, what did I play that I haven't played before?
One by one of our favorite designers that comes on the podcast.
Oh yeah, we played Crossfire, dude.
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
freaking love Crossfire.
It was pretty fun. It took me probably 2 to 3 rounds before I was like really felt comfortable with it, because it does feel a little different than normal social deduction games in that
Yeah.
in my mind the rolls felt a little strange. And since it goes so fast, I was like, that first round I was just like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to where are my allegiances. But it was a solid time. It was a really good time. We spent. I was trying to think of how many games I won. That game, there were some crazy games in there where you can really trip people up. So the
yeah.
agents killed each other one time, and
You don't
So
have
the
time to
some-
100% work things out. So, like, if you do something just the right way, you don't have to play it off for that long because you only have 3 minutes. So,
yeah,
they can't grill you for too long. So,
yeah.
and even if they figure you out, you could kind of be like the sacrifice sometimes, be like, oh, everybody shoot at me or whatever. So,
Yeah, or you could, in my case, have somebody go, "Hey, man, this is the dude who needs to die multiple times," and just completely ignore what your basically partner is saying, and then end up not killing the VIP, and then getting real sad.
I remember we won a game. Me and Dustin as the agent won a game being the agents where we both shot each other. We shot each other being the agents, but both the assassins didn't kill the VIP, so we still won.
Yeah,
no,
man.
No help of our own.
Conversely, one time both of the assassins died, and one of the agents shot the VIP.
Yes, that was
So
awesome
it was-
too. Hector,
There's a lot
Ryan
of-
was the
a lot of good stuff.
VIP, and he claimed to be the VIP, and Hector was was an agent and just shot him.
Hector was just like, "Nah, I don't trust this guy at all." It was
Ryan's-
like,
Hector's
"Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
Ryan's not trustworthy.
Makes sense. I agree."
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, it was a blast.
The crazy thing about Crossfire is, like, I like a lot of different social deduction games, but I feel like it's one, like, even if you already have a ton of different social deduction games and you like the genre, it's like, oh, why do I need one more social deduction game? I've seen what the genre can do. It's so quick and so fast paced, and the fact that, like, you can kind of know, you know, it's like, I know that this is on that side of the table. It just adds a whole interesting thing to the genre, I think. So, and it's super inexpensive, so that helps too.
Yeah, and it's like super small box.
Yeah.
So
It's like $10 for this game. Yes, please, all day.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Cool, cool. And there's several
It's
other
for-
like roles and several other like modes that you can play with that we haven't played with. There's a mode where there's like one person who's like the sniper, and they're like the I don't think there's like really any agents in the game, but there's the sniper, and the sniper everybody knows who they are, but everybody has to talk them into where the agents are to shoot the agents.
Isn't that what we played in Florida?
Yeah.
That
So
was
they're
awesome.
like,
That's awesome.
sniper, I saw this, you really gotta shoot it over here. You really gotta aim and kill this guy. So
Just shoot Roy. Even if you're the sniper, shoot yourself.
yeah, and when we were in Florida, we were playing with the bomber as well, and that's a role where if no one kills the bomber, then everybody loses. So if he survives, everybody loses. So it throws a whole wrench into it because either an agent or an assassin has to shoot whoever the bomber is, or everybody loses. So it's like, well, who's gonna shoot him? I mean, how are we gonna figure out who the bomber is, and then are we gonna shoot him? I did terrible in one of the games down in Florida because they were like, "Roy, are you the bomber?" And I was just like, oh,
Hey, you pulled a me.
I literally channeled Matt.
Perfect. There we go. We did it.
Just because I'm like, I don't know what to say. It's one of those things where it just had me pegged because they're like, we saw it on this side of the table. This person's this person, this person's that person. Roy's the bomber. And I'm just like, sound logic. I don't know.
Yeah.
Good times, good times. Cool. So overall, you liked it?
Yeah, no, it's solid. It's I feel like it's a game you bust out if you're not feeling the crazy long time period of Ultimate Werewolf. You can just bust it out because it's shorter.
Nice.
It's more fast paced. Yeah, no, it's good. It definitely, I feel like, is almost a replacement for One Night Ultimate Werewolf if you need something to go quick, but is still sort of a very engrossing social deduction game.
Yeah, I like Deception better overall,
Right.
but for
Yeah.
a quick filler social deduction game, it's number one.
Right. Nice.
Sweet.
I don't. Did you get to do more than just watch us play games, Rob?
Nope.
Rob's like, I'm a busy man.
Yeah, busy. Had a bunch of stuff going on. However, though, my family late at night, we've been playing a lot of Super Mario Brothers, the SNES Mario World. We've
Nice.
become a little addicted to that.
There you go.
And so we've had that going on. And so that's been a lot of fun watching like all of us try to figure it out and complain about the controllers and all that kind of stuff.
What's wrong with the controllers?
And so we've been, the controllers, they're like super sensitive. Well, we've been playing the regular NES one, and then we started playing the Super Nintendo one, and it's like, oh my goodness, bro. Like, these are so sensitive.
Gotcha.
So it's just, anyway, it's been a lot of fun. But board games, I went to 2 events this weekend hoping to play a board game at either event. Did not get to play.
I'm so sorry, man.
So it's okay. It's fine. It is what it is. But I still like board games. I don't know if I've ever played a board game in all of May.
Dag.
Oh, no.
What was
Yep.
I going to say? For me, I got to play Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, which we're going to talk about a ton next week, so I'm not going to talk too long. But I got to play the Goblins, and Goblins are awesome. And there was just so much combat in the. I was telling Matt about how there doesn't.
Yeah,
have
who
to be-
won that game?
There doesn't have to be combat in the game, but last week there was a lot of combat in the game, which the last few games I'd played there wasn't. I ended up winning, but
I know the lizard people didn't win.
oh yeah, we jumped on my friend Chuck or whatever, and I went in there just to take one space, just because I'm like, I'm gonna be here. I want to put some pressure on him. We played a game. He had like 4 villages in his area, and I know most of you probably haven't played it enough to know what that means, but like they give you a bunch of extra points at the end of the game. So I've never seen something like that happen. So I was just like, if I just leave him to do whatever he wants and not put any pressure on him, then he's going to just run away with us at the end because he's going to have so many points sitting over there. So I'm going to set myself up in a way to like make a move for it at the end. I ended up taking 2 of those villages at the last round. I took 3 of them, but he took one of them back. And then everybody was just scrambling to see how many points they could get. But It was a lot of fun. I think everybody had a lot of fun. It was cool to see everybody jumping on each other because they were not afraid of attacking each other at all, which was pretty funny. But yeah. The extra packs with the mercenaries and stuff, I really want to use them. I haven't used them yet. So I have played massive.
But you've been playing with new people every time, though, right?
I keep playing with new people every single time I play. So it's hard for me to like be like, and we can also recruit all these other heroes. But it's really cool because there's mercenaries that are off to the side that you can play with, and then there's also these cool like constructs which you can actually build with the build action, so you can get a unit by doing the build action. I want to play with both of those because I feel like they might give you a chance to actually do the exterminate route. I've seen the in-game triggers from everything except for the exterminate, and I feel like those might like end up helping you be able to pull that off because you'd have a little bit more firepower under your belt with more heroes and more constructs. But they're definitely not necessary to enjoy the game because I love the game and haven't played with them yet. But if you want extra stuff, they're definitely super cool. And I painted all mine. That's like almost the only thing I have painted for the game. But I haven't played
that necessary remark reminded me of the movie Dodgeball. I won't repeat the remark, but if you guys have seen Dodgeball, you'll know what I'm talking about.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Sort of.
But yeah, I still like Heroes of Lander and Sea. Obviously.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, do you want to talk about the other thing we played?
Does Matt know you played another game?
We played... It came in a box, and we all played together.
Telestrations, yeah.
I mean, that's not the one I was thinking of, but that's a great one, too.
Oh. What's the other game we played?
It was a escape room game.
Oh, yeah. We played Exit.
Whatever.
Yeah, dude, Telestrations. Telestrations is great. If you haven't played Telestrations, play Telestrations.
And once again, playing Telestrations, I couldn't play it without, like, not crying laughing. Like, every single time I play that game, I am just laughing so hard, tears are coming out of my face.
Yeah, no,
it is one of those games.
It's fantastic. And the other thing is, I feel like the more I play it, the more likely I am to just tell people to ignore the cards entirely and write down whatever it is that they want. Because one of the ones that we had was the Trial of R. Kelly.
Yes!
Which was fantastic. So that was written and passed to Roy, and then Roy drew it. And once I knew what it was actually a very good drawing. But looking at it from an outside perspective, without knowing what this is at all, it was a nightmare.
I had like this judge up on a podium with like a giant gavel, and then I had like people in the audience, but some of them were in chains because, you know, the whole cult thing, whatever. Anyway, yeah. And I had...
R. Kelly's in the cult?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He does a lot of stuff.
And then I had R. Kelly standing up on a table with the people underneath him. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he was singing music.
You know, doing what R. Kelly does.
Doing what R. Kelly does.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was insane.
So I wrote a small story about literally everything I saw, and then passed it to Ryan, and then Ryan went, "I'm not drawing any of this," and then just drew a picture of Wolverine.
Ryan?
Yeah.
He wouldn't draw any of that?
No, because basically I took up the entire Telestrations board. So you know how it has that like oval in the middle where you're supposed to write your word? I started from the corner and then went across like it was a paper and was still sort of like, I'm not sure if I'm going to have room. And it was something else.
They do have Telestrations After Dark, which I think is kind of redundant depending on the crowd.
Yeah. I feel like you can get away with playing After Dark if you just go, hey man, just put a word down, and you're like, all right, cool, Chi-Chi's, and there you go.
I think it's funnier if it's not forced and it just happens out of randomness.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the other game we played. And Matt can back me up. But we played another one of the unlocked games. We played, I think it's like House on the Hill or something like that. This is the haunted house version of Unlock. We finally got another one of the tons of Unlock games played that Trevor left at my house because he's beaten them all. But yeah, man, I like Unlock because I feel like compared to some of the other games, like the cards and stuff and the feel of it is very thematic and like matches together as you're playing through it. It's also replayable, and it's just cool, a lot of the things that you do with it. We were playing with a ton of people, and I felt like everybody did a little bit of something to help figure out and solve different pieces of the puzzle. So it was super awesome to like see everything come together, and everybody's looking at the cards, and Hector's pulling out all sorts of ideas. We're like, oh man, we're stuck. What do we do? Hector's like, oh, there's a numbers on this key, and we're like, oh man, Hector, you're the best. And it's just a lot of fun trying to figure out how to put everything together as a group, working together, playing these escape room games. And then after you play it, you can just pass it on to someone else, and they can play it as well. It's super awesome. But yeah, definitely still, I think my favorite kind of escape room is definitely still Unlock, just because that replayability factor of playing it, and then you can just literally host the game for somebody else, set it on the table, and watch them play it. You know.
Well, plus it has the way it works is it's sort of like the Arkham Horror LCG, in which the cards sort of depict the room and the things going on. So there's a lot of artwork that sort of draws you into it and makes you feel the motif going a little more. Whereas like the Exit games have a little bit of that, and then it's just like open the rule book, and then you'll find a number puzzle, and then there's a Sudoku on page 7, and once you solve that and it's square A4, that will give you the number to and you're like, okay, that's cool, but like I could just be doing the Sudoku. Like
Exactly. I think one of the things about Exit to me is like it just forces you from puzzle to puzzle, which is kind of like meh. But Unlock, I like the way that everything kind of goes together, and you can try to figure out solutions. It's like, what makes the most sense? What's going on here? I mean, overall, I don't think it was a very hard scenario that we played, but I definitely had a lot of fun going through it. So
that's what she said.
Hey.
Awesome.
Boom.
I don't know what else new I played. I played more Clank the Mummy's Curse, which is always fun.
Oh man, I just ordered Clank in Space.
Oh sweet. But I taught Chuck and Dustin how to play Clank the Mummy's Curse, and they both wrecked me in that game. I'm not good at Clank, but I enjoy it.
What do you struggle with Clank?
I just take too many curses or go too deep and I'm not able to get out. Like I died. And I don't know, I just have fun playing the game as opposed to like working super hard to actually win. Say what?
Didn't you win the first time we played?
I have won Clank multiple times, but the last 2 times we played, I was like in last place. But that's fine. It's besides the point.
Gotcha.
I just like to have fun in Clank. Sometimes you just want to.
The time that I played with you, I beat you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm terrible at the game. If Rob can beat me, you know I gotta be bad. I'm just kidding.
That was cute.
I also played more Thanos Rising, which Trevor amazingly gave me for my birthday, which I was super stoked. Hi, thanks, Trevor. And lost to Thanos again. Took forever to lose to Thanos, but it's fine. But it was a lot of fun. And I painted up my Thanos to make him look a lot better. I think it looks awesome. So.
Is he not painted, or did you like touch him up?
He's painted, but he's very flat. Like.
Gotcha.
Everything is like a single color, and like the gauntlet and his like armor is like yellow, and I'm like, no, that's not gonna pass. So I like painted it gold and like made his skin actually have multiple tones in it and crap like that. I'm like, he needs to not look like a fuchsia guy. I'm like, it's Thanos, he needs to look epic. So I painted him up, and then I like based him, and like the base under the rock was just like gray, so I like put like this crackle stuff on there and made it look all crazy. But yeah, it's awesome. I like it.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. And Trevor's trying to shame me in chat for not playing Arkham Horror LCG with him yet. But that's besides the point. But yeah, so that's what we played. We played a bunch of different stuff. But I guess we could go ahead and get into our topic.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to be talking about culling games. So I don't know how far Matt's going to go down this rabbit hole, because I mean, you're getting a lot of games now, but
yeah, I've gotten rid of one.
Nice. But yeah,
and I bought it.
Do you ever cull your game collection?
Yeah.
Yes.
The one time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty good.
I think. I guess we can go right into the next thing. Like, oh yeah, we get rid of games sometimes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I call for different reasons, but I know you have more questions about like why and how.
I think it's kind of funny because there's some people out there like, no, why would I ever get rid of any games? I'm not really like I don't even consider my games a game. I mean, it is a collection of games, but I'm not specifically collecting games. Like I know some people get a hold of a bunch of different copies of Risk just because they're copies of Risk. But
Listen, buddy.
I don't actually collect things.
Those games have value to me, and they're fun games. And now, if I want to play 22 different kinds of Risk, I can.
Rob
not a lot of people can say that.
That would be cool. Just set up all the Risks. It's just RiskCon.
That would be kind of fun, and I would go to that.
I would probably go to it. I wonder which.
You're not invited now. You voted for
weird
it.
Random question. Which copy would you want to play first?
Which copy would I want to play first?
I mean, besides Legacy, because obviously that's your favorite. But
yeah, if besides that, it'd probably be the Lord of the Rings Risk.
Yeah, I have that one.
That's actually a really good Risk because it's area control, but it's like you can play like the standard Risk way, or you can play. Or like the good guys versus the bad guys, and the good guys have to protect the ring. It's kind of fun where like you're not so much focused on conquering all of Mordor. You just want to make sure the way that the ring is going is cleared out and stuff like that. Because if the bad guys ever win it, you lose it.
Tim's jumping up on our questions. I guess we can go ahead and ask it now. How many games would you say you have in your collection?
How many do I own at this point?
Yeah.
Man, I sold. Last year, I cleaned house. Last year, I probably have close to 150 to 200 games. But last year, I sold over 100. Because I was over 300 at one point.
Yeah.
And then I sold
says I have like 300 something games.
Oh,
but I'm trying to remember how many of those are actually expansions. Do you count expansions in that? Because I own a ton of expansions. Because I love expanding games.
If it's not expansions, then it's probably closer to 150.
Oh, dag, it's down a lot. I don't think this is currently up to date. But mine says 231. I probably need to enter a bunch of stuff in. I haven't necessarily been as good as I should be on. Well, not necessarily should be, but I haven't kept up with my Board Game Geek listing on.
Yeah, I haven't touched my listing in like forever.
Yeah.
But like last year, I spent a lot of money on Kickstarter, so I sold a lot of other games. I culled a lot of other games to be able to buy some of my Kickstarters.
I'll just say over 200 games. If you count the exit games that Trevor left at my house, add another 50. No, I'm just kidding.
I
need to play these, by the way.
I think I only have like 50, maybe, not counting expansions. Yeah.
Nice.
Which feels weird for me to say, because I wouldn't have guessed it was that many.
Yeah.
Oh, look at all these games to my left I didn't count. Anywho.
Yeah.
They're It's like the trebles or whatever in Star Trek.
I've got like another 15 plus coming in on Kickstarter.
Nice.
Eventually.
That's crazy.
So
awesome. So what makes you like? What's the decision that goes in the process of getting rid of one of your games or culling it out of your collection?
I go, ooh, I don't like this.
I mean that, yeah, sometimes like it may get a bad taste in my mouth and I just don't care for it anymore, or a better game has come out.
Yeah.
Like I got rid of Fury of Dracula and Letters at Whitechapel because Spectre Ops came out. I can't see myself playing another hidden movement game outside of Spectre Ops. It's so great. So to me, it's either I don't care for it anymore, or, well, it's three reasons actually. I don't care for it anymore. A better game has come out with a similar play style, or I don't get it to the table.
Nice.
Now I can't say that about every game because there's some games I haven't played yet and I've owned for 2 years, or 2 or more years. But there's some games where I just know I'm not going to sell. Like, I think the next time somebody does a charity thing, I'm just going to give away battles at Kimball's Cascade. Like, I think I punched it, but I never played it or never did anything. I've tried to sell it 3 times. Nobody buys it. I think it's going to be like one of those, like at the next like International Tabletop Day. Here's just a free game.
Is it? I thought I heard good things about that. We never got a chance to play it. I didn't play it.
It looks great. I love the idea of it. I mean, I love Galaga. If I got rid of Zombicide, it would probably cut 200 off the expansion list. But I'm with you, Ian. I have all of Zombicide, and I love it. It's a great game. But anyway.
For me, as far as culling games, it's mostly like if I look at my shelf and I see a game that it's like, if I don't like want to get it to the table, like if I like no longer actually want to play it, if it's like, okay, I mean, that's a fine game, but in every opportunity, I'm probably going to pick this game over that game, you know? It's just like you said, if a game's replaced it, or if it's just like, I've played that game, I've played it enough, I no longer need to play that game, then I'm just like, okay, time to put it on the trade list, time to get it out, try to sell it off, whatever you got to do to not necessarily even make space. I mean, I do want to have enough space for all of my games, but it's more about like, hey, is this actually something I want to play, you know? That's the main reason for me. How would you normally get rid of a game that you no longer want in your collection?
Typically
Dumpster
I sell it.
fire. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I try to sell it, at a discounted price online. I sell a lot of my stuff through Facebook groups, through local groups, or the national like buy trade sell board game groups. Yeah, try to sell it.
I've done a lot of like Board Game Geek trades. So on Board Game Geek, you can list specific games for trade and things like that. If there's specific games I want, it'll like pair you up with people that want your games that are on your trade list, and they have games that you want, and you can kind of set that up. I mean, shipping is terrible most of the time. It's like, oh man, I gotta ship these games now. But you can get rid of something that you don't want and get something that you do want. And sometimes you can get really, really cool trade deals with different people on different things. So, especially if it's something that you don't want anymore. But yeah, mostly I do Board Game Geek trades. As far as trusting people for Board Game Geek trades, normally there's a whole like review system where you can like give feedback, kind of like eBay or whatever. Like it's just straight feedback. I've traded a lot. I've traded probably like 20, 30 something times. Maybe it's a little bit less than that, but probably at least 20 something times. And I've never had any issues trading with people, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, you can give people feedback, and if they like have zero feedback whatsoever, I just make them send it first. So like if you have zero feedback, they'll probably make you send it first, which is kind of rough, but just trade with your first trades with somebody who has really good feedback, and then it'll be like, okay, 100 people have said that they're good at trading. Hopefully they're good at trading. So, but I haven't had any issues in that case. But yeah, I've done a lot of that. Like that's how I got Rune Wars. That's how I got Galaxy Trucker. That's how I got. I mean, honestly, I've done a ton of trades. So yeah.
Oh man.
Good times. And then I recently they had like an auction. I know you've done an auction before too, because you did one at Mega MooseCon, right, Rob?
The auction?
Not an auction, but like a market, like a flea market for the board.
Yeah,
games.
well, I mean, I like local cons, like I've done at the Piedmont Tabletop Day. Not this year, but last year I made good money doing that.
Yeah, you can just
so yeah, I'll sell because it's also nice. I actually like doing those the best actually because people can see it and hold the game in person.
Yeah.
And it's fun too because like they look it up and they see, wow, your game's in really good shape, and I see it's like $20 off of what I'd buy it for on Amazon. Okay, I'll take this.
And you don't have to worry about shipping it to somebody.
I did one time sell a game to a guy, and I was hyping up the game so bad. I never played the game, and I was like, "Man, this is really cool. I just don't have time to play it. It looks so amazing. It looks so fantastic. You should buy it. You should buy it. I'll cut you a deal.
What game
I'll cut
was
you a
it?
deal if you buy it right now. I'll cut you a deal. I'll cut you a deal." And he's like, "All right, all right, all right, all right, all right." And like 2 weeks later, I saw it online for sale on Facebook.
What game was it?
I'd rather not say because the guy may be a listener.
Oh no.
Actually, I didn't do anything bad, and I told the guy that I have not played the game. It was Rum and Bones.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I mean,
And I know
there's nothing
Sam
wrong
Healy
with that
loves
game.
that game.
I mean, it's not my
Yeah,
kind
there's
of
nothing
game.
wrong
but
with the game.
Lots of people love
I if I see that and I see Zombie Side boxes right beside it, I'd rather play Zombie
it.
Side.
Set both of them off. Oh, sorry, that's not where I thought you were going. I'm just kidding.
What'd you say,
I said sell both of them off. I was just kidding.
bro? I'm gonna do a big Zombie Side day and not invite you. I'm gonna invite everybody but you. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And you're gonna be like, "Why didn't you guys invite me?" I'm like, "Well, you wanted me to sell it off, and you voted for Heroes over Mansions, so you're not invited."
Oh boy.
This is for the people that did not vote for Heroes.
Is it wrong that I don't feel bad about that? No, I'm just kidding.
You'll feel bad because we're gonna have a wide assortment of cheeses.
Until you send me close up shots of the Stranger Things characters, then I'll feel bad. But it's got to be.
Bro, I got a trebuchet right now.
That's fine.
That's awesome.
Now, if you're playing on
And
that
to
3D
answer your
castle
question-
thing, that would be fun. They had a giant 3D castle for Zombie Side at Cool Aeronaut Expo. Zombie Side Black Plague. It was like a recreation of the board. It was ridiculous. But yeah. Cool. Next question. With so many games coming out, is it harder for a game to have staying power?
Yes and no. Yeah, it is and it isn't. For example, and I'm not just saying this just because he's in the chat, but Blood Rage is an old game now, or an older game. What was it, 2015? I mean, when did the Kickstarter launch on Blood Rage? Let me look this up real quick. That was like my very first. You guys remember I almost had a heart attack over that game? I was like,
that
oh
was
my
when we
God.
first started the podcast. You were just talking every week
Like,
like
I
I
don't
needed to
know.
come out.
I needed to come out so bad. I was so excited. Blood Rage. Oh my goodness. I got Blood Rage in November of 2015.
Yeah.
Hey.
I still love Blood Rage.
Yeah,
And there have been other area control games that have come out since then. It depends on the game, man. Like if you make an awesome game, like look at Galaxy Trucker.
Mhm.
You still have Galaxy Trucker and still play that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd play it more if I didn't
Yeah.
feel like I was going to be too mean to people when I play them. But yeah, there's definitely solid good games out there.
It just depends on the game. But to answer your question, it does from like games like I'm about. Like it was fun, but I don't know. I may not buy it, or I may buy it aftermarket rather than going all in. So
There's so many games that I like to play them before I buy them to know if they'll actually like be a good fit for me and fit in my collection. So I don't have to cull them. I pre-cull them before I even get them because I play them beforehand, you know? It's like I don't have to buy this and then get rid of it because I played it and I'm like, that's fine, but is it something I need to own? Probably not.
yeah.
So and that's why Trevor's the best, because Trevor just lets me play all the games one time. I mean,
Because Trevor buys them and he just like leaves them at your house because he doesn't have room
I
in
was
his
about to say,
apartment.
I wonder the numbers.
Trevor needs a whole other apartment for
on-
his games.
Trevor, you should whenever you sell games, make sure to click on previously owned on Board Game Geek, so we know how much like your timeless collection, like every game you have owned in the past. That would be immense. It'd be
The
crazy.
real question to ask Trevor is how many times has he bought and sold and bought and sold and bought
the
and sold
same game.
the same game?
The same game. And is there a specific game which was like the worst? Trevor says he has a whole apartment for his games. It's
I
not a
believe
lie.
it.
It's not a lie.
It's not a lie. And here's the crazy thing is he will play all those games. He will play those games.
No, it's not a
Wow,
Trevor
he's bought
intervention.
and sold Blood Rage, Russian Railroads, and Kemet 3 times.
I love that Trevor goes through the games because he brings them over and lets me play them, and it's amazing. So then I get to play them, and I can talk about them on the podcast, and then he gets rid of it in a couple weeks. I don't have to worry about it. It's fine.
Well, and I will say in his defense, like he does treat it like a business, and he's able to make money off of it. You know, he's not just doing it. It's not like he's being dumb about it. Maybe sometimes everybody makes a mistake, but I've seen some of the transactions that he's done, and he's done really well for himself.
I go from Tim was saying that it was the intervention of Trevor, and now he's saying I'm an enabler. Great. Nice.
Boom.
Yeah. So is there a genre of game that you feel like you don't need any more of, or that you're tired of seeing?
A genre?
Yeah, if you're just like, this kind of board game, there's too many of, or I don't, like, whenever they announce that kind of board game, I immediately am just like, meh. Not worried about it. Like, it's like, okay, there's another social deduction game. Brand new social deduction game. And it's just like, okay, well, I think social deduction's been solved. You know?
No, it's good. I don't know, because, like, speaking of social deduction game, Werewords, have you played that yet? That was a lot of fun. I was like, how are they going to keep doing these, like, werewolf games?
Yeah.
And yet they still make good games. It's not the greatest social deduction game, but it's fun, and I like the different components.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's nothing that like comes out that I'm like, oh man, I just have too much of that, or I don't care for that, or anything like that. It's, I mean, if anything, I would say queue pushing, but that's just because I don't like queue pushing. Like, as much as I like Stronghold games and a lot of the stuff that they do, but like the game like Panamax does absolutely nothing for me. I don't care ever to play about the Panama Canal. Nope. The only thing I want to know about that is if my Amazon box is going through the Panama Canal, is it functioning at a rate where I can get my box on Friday? Like, that's all I care about.
Yeah. I don't know if I can even speak to that genre because I just stray away from it. So
Yeah, I mean, I stay away from it. But is that like all Euros? Because I'm actually starting to like some Euros.
You probably like Panamax and you don't even know. You just haven't played it yet.
But it's the theme. Like, the Euros that I like the theme.
Yeah.
Really love Champions of Midgard. Love Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Love Terraforming Mars. I really enjoy Dinosaur Island. All those games, cool themes.
Yeah. Oh, I need to see about
Ethnos is still the ugliest game. It's the most disappointing. It's not ugly, but coming from Cool Mini or not, and getting a game that looked like that, it was mortifying. Just Tim, I'll never stop saying that. And I like the game, but it's still so ugly compared to what it could have been.
Trevor culled Ethnos into my collection.
Ethnos is a good game. It's a fun game. I played it multiple times. In fact, last year at Dice Tower Con, I played it like 5 to 8 times. Yeah.
Hey,
it does work.
Don't be talking crap about Ethnos. Now that you traded away, Trevor. Nice. For me, I've heard a lot of people talking about how, oh my goodness, there's so many area control games like these.
No, there's
on a
not.
map
But
games.
shut your mouth.
Exactly. Like every single dudes on a map game that comes out with like miniatures all over the board, and you're like building up your stuff. Like, I'm interested in checking it out just because, like, I'm pretty sure it was funny because somebody online was like, okay. I have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and I have Lords of Hellas, and they're both unplayed. And I don't think I need more than one dudes on a map game. Which one should I get rid of? And I'm like, wait, what? You don't need more than one dudes on a map game? I'm like, let me go count the number of dudes on a map games in my collection, like that are like area control, units on the board, fighting each other. Like I got to like 15, and I had to stop counting because I kept finding more. Like, literally my favorite kind of game. And if they announced a crazy-looking, like, area control, build up stuff, and go fight your neighbors things game tomorrow, I would be like, yes, I'll play it. I'll try it out at least. I don't know that I'll make it in my collection, but I love those kind of games.
I think out of all my Kickstarters, 17 of them are area control.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's not all of my Kickstarters, but still.
But yeah, I mean, I didn't like grow up playing a ton of Risk or anything like that. I know you played a bunch of Risk and stuff like that, Rob.
I played some. Like, it's not like we played all the time, but like growing up, if we're gonna play a board game, it was gonna be either Axis and Allies or Risk.
I mean, I played Dune, and what else did I play that was like that? I don't really know.
What was that copy of Dune that we played with Trevor at Mega MooseCon the first year?
Oh, that's the Dune the Dice game. Or the Dice Must Flow.
Crazy.
That is strictly a print and play, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had to like get that printed out and all that stuff, but it was actually pretty cool. But yeah, we're living in the age of Blood Rage. Nice. What about you, Matt? Are there any genres that you're tired of for games?
In terms of like adding them to my collection, not really. I do sort of agree with the people that you guys were naysaying. I do think there are a lot of dudes on the map games coming out, and they're almost all on Kickstarter.
Yep.
Like, it's all just, check it out, guys. It's a game with minis, and they'll make $2 million, but the game's not great. And it's just like, okay.
I'm with you on some of those games. But if you're talking about Zombicide, I can't help it. It's a disease.
No, I mean, you know, Zombicide is what it is. I'm not gonna.
I need them to make more that are in the vein of like the Axis and Allies model, right? Because you can like buy different types of units and stuff like that in Axis and Allies, right?
Hey, don't say that, because I would love to play Axis and Allies with you. I
don't
think
want
you
to
would
actually
enjoy
play
it.
Axis and Allies. I want a completely different theme. But
That's what I'm
is
saying. It's
I
theme.
want the mechanic of being able to buy a bunch of different types of units that do all sorts of crazy
Mark
different things.
Kale in the house. I've missed that, man. You know it's been a long time if I've actually missed Mark Kale. Man.
Awesome. What does it take for games to get you excited and want to add them to your collection? Like, is there
Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Gotta look pretty, man.
Yeah.
It's gotta look pretty. If it looks pretty, you'll probably get my money.
I guess the gameplay kind of has to be there, but like, there's like a certain price point that I will literally just back it for art alone. Like, there's a deck builder that I backed. I still haven't looked at the rules. I don't know what it is. I don't care. It was like $25. I was just like, I really like the artwork in this.
Nice.
This is a really cool looking game. And it should be coming in at some point, sometime in the next couple of months. So, you know, hey.
I think
also, Mark, apparently, Adam is in the Dirty Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
They hanging out right now.
Feel free to hit him up and give him all sorts of hell.
I think it was going the other way around. I think Adam was giving Mark crap about people using their high beams in South Carolina.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate. He chose that place to vacation.
Man, see, that's a game that I haven't played yet. I want to play Thief. And if I'm able to go to Mark's thing June 9th, I'm going to try to play that game. That game looks so cool to me. Love the idea and the concept of the game.
Nice.
So much fun. As does nothing for Roy, but that's a game where it's like, it's historical. You can battle. You can become the Pope and like marry off your kids and like gain alliances and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's so medieval, and I absolutely love it. Like, you just have kids, not because you love them, but just because you need, future emissaries to speak for you in other countries. So go marry this person.
Nice.
Oh.
For me, like you guys said, like, I like a game that looks awesome, but honestly, it's not the number one thing. It definitely has to be a game that I feel like the mechanics are extremely solid. Like, you guys know I do a lot of research into the games before I actually get them. Like, I'm like, okay, watch a review, figure out what other people are saying about it. Does it feel like it's something that would fit into my collection? Is it something that I'd want to play? And then just like the experience that game creates matters a lot to me too. It's like, okay, well, who would I be able to play this game with? Like, would this be a good game to play with Matt and Rob, or would this be like a good head-on-head game that Rob would really like, or could I play this with Trevor or different family members or things like that? There's all sorts of things that go into being like, oh man, would this be a great game to fit into my collection? But other than that, a lot of times I'm just like, oh, that game looks really cool. I would like to play it. So, and then after I play it, then I'm like, this is cool enough to actually like make happen, you know, to put down the cash monies for. So
Yeah.
good times. Is there a game that you can never see getting rid of?
Blood Rage.
Never getting rid of several. I know you're not gonna like this one so much, Roy, but Mansions of Madness.
No, I wouldn't get rid of Mansions of Madness either.
Well, I know it's tough for you because you like lesser valued games more than that. But
like I said, Mansions of Madness is up there super high.
Maybe your vision just gets cloudy at the high altitude or something. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. There are several games I'll never want to get rid of. I'll probably never get rid of my copy either of Dead of Winter, even if when the next one comes out, just because also it's signed from, like, I remember telling Colby the story of moving him out of the way to have Isaac sign it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with Ian. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of my top 10.
Yeah, that's kind of the same boat I'm in. Like
now that will change because your top 10 has changed because Heroes of Landarian Sea came out last year,
right?
And it joined your top 10,
right?
Man, Game of Thrones, Mark. I will never get rid of Game of Thrones, even if I never play it again. I have so many memories with my copy. I've played my game so much my board has fallen apart.
That's crazy.
That's how many times I've played that game.
Now you just gotta make one out of wood.
Yeah, I've played.
I just need them to come out with the 3rd edition, add all the additional factions, add a bunch of crazy stuff. Like, that would be so cool. But nope, what are they doing? They're making these cartoon Game of Thrones games and Game of Thrones, the Iron Throne and stuff like that. Like, come on. Fantasy Flight. Like, never mind. I don't want to rant.
I had a piece of news that I don't know if you guys saw because I didn't hear either one of you talk about it. But Asmodee was putting out feelers to see if somebody wanted to buy them.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I just didn't know what to say about it.
What?
Yeah. So it seems like Asmodee was taken over by an investment group.
Yeah, the investment group
when
is
they
selling
started
Asmodee.
Inquiring all these other companies.
Yeah.
So what they do is they buy up a bunch of stuff to pump their stock and all their stuff like that, and then they just turn around and dump it for an inflated price with somebody else.
Yeah, so the entirety of Asmodee is for sale.
Because I think I saw the number somewhere was, I don't remember. I think it might be like 1.5 billion.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
Was what they were shooting to get out of it.
So what does that mean for, like, the Plaid Hat games and for, like, the Z-Man games?
The question is, who's going to buy them, right?
Yeah, another investment
Who has
group.
that
I mean,
much
if
money?
they're a company that's makes money. No, it won't be. It won't be. I don't think it'd be a gaming company. It'd be like a businessman.
Yeah.
Just wants to own a giant game conglomerate.
Well, I mean, it's not even that, but look at all the markets that they're in worldwide.
True.
They could use them as an outpost for a bunch of different
Are
stuff.
you gonna put in your bid, Rob?
Nah, man, I want to put in my
$4. Let's go. Start small.
Hey man,
Business
you
is
could
going
own
well,
Plaid
but it's
Hat games
definitely not going
and
that well.
Fantasy Flight games, and then
I'm gonna
have
be
to
honest
say,
with you,
right?
Roy and Matt. I love you guys very much, but if business was going that well, I would not be on the show right now.
Wait, what?
Hey, I understand. Yeah.
Bro, if I'm at a point in my life where I can buy something for $1.5 billion and I'm not doing something like traveling the world or saving an endangered species, like, I can't see myself on this show. Like, I have to be doing, it would have to change to like the Epic podcast, because if I am in a point in my life where I'm that blessed and I'm talking about what board games am I selling or buying, no. First of all, I own board games. I own the IP to board games. Yeah.
Nice.
Man.
Hey, but then they have to make Game of Thrones expansions if you own it, right?
Yeah. Also, Rob's buying up all the IPs to like the Matrix and stuff. He's like, I want to make a game with this. I don't know what
That'd
it
be
is.
so awesome. I would love for like Emerson to make like a Queen's Gambit of the Matrix, or maybe not even that, but just like a really cool area control minigame. I don't know. I just see Queen's Gambit working for that IP so well because you have Neo fighting, and then maybe not the 3-tiered, but at least 2-tiered, and then you have like the humans fighting the robots. That'd be so awesome.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson versus Mr. Smith.
Woo.
So good. I need to watch those again. Second one, not so much, but maybe the first and the third.
So is there a game you have gotten rid of that you wish you still had?
No. I got rid of one. And that's fine.
I've gotten rid of tons. But for me, it's like I got rid of them because I don't really want to play them anymore. So it's just kind of like, meh.
I'm upset. I'm a little upset, and it's strictly just because of all the plastic. But I still beat myself up for getting rid of Massive Darkness.
Oh boy.
I'll never buy it again. And I know people send me messages. I'll sell you mine. No, I've broken up. We broke up, and I'm moving on. It just still hurts. But I had so much plastic for that game. I mean, it came in a moving box.
Yeah, man.
Meh. I've gotten rid of a bunch of stuff. I can't think of anything that's like, oh man, I want that back. Because I've done a good job of keeping things that I still want to play. So, I feel like most of the games that I got rid of, it's like even if someone else is like, hey, let's play this, I'd be like, I'm good. It's like, what about this other game that's even better? I don't know. Cool. Yeah. So do you have a limit to how big you want your collection to be?
Not really. I don't have like a number like, man, it can never get so high type of a thing. It just depends on where I'm at in my life at the time.
Yeah.
How well business is going for me, what bills need to be paid, other things like that. But no, I don't have a set, like, all right, I'm only going to do 100, and so now once I'm at 95, I want to buy more games. What do I need to cull? No. It comes in waves, but I don't know. I could also see once I finish out my basement and have like my cool room and stuff down here, ramping up my collection again to fill in my built-ins I'm going to have built.
Yeah. If you have nice-looking shelves that are big enough.
Dude sold his copy for $1,800.
He said it was the big wooden collector's edition.
Oh, did he sell that to Stephen Bonacore?
Dude, that thing is still going for like tons of money.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. Oh my goodness, Alan, your return. That's like a 600% or over 500% because you're at 350.
It's interesting that board games do a weird thing. Like if it's a really popular game that is literally never going back into print, they can get pretty high. But that game
it's also a super strong IP.
Yeah, that game's super strong IP, and the box is made out of wood and engraved. And they made another edition that is not as nice. So it's kind of like, okay, they made a new collector's edition, but it's not as cool as the first one. So people are like, oh man, I really want the first one. But
yeah,
that would be. I think there's a question down here further. Maybe it's not, or maybe I missed it. But I was gonna ask, is there a specific game that you wish you could have in your collection? Oh, I remember I was gonna put it in there, but I'm like, but wait, it's supposed to be making the cut. Why would I do the opposite of that? But it's like if there was one game I could have in my collection of any board game ever, no matter the price, it probably would be that War of the Ring Collector's Edition, just because it's stupid.
Yeah, maybe something like that, like a collector's edition or like a Queen's Gambit or something like that. But
Gambit's pretty solid.
But the collector's edition of the War of the Ring, because it is custom made and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a game like a favorite of mine that's like all customed out.
One of the things I'm worried about though is that like the minis in that, I can paint minis better than the minis in that, so it made me kind of sad. I was like, I looked at it and like there's a video where Antoine from Fantasy Flight is like showing off the collector's edition and pulling open the wooden box and showing the giant boards and all that stuff, and then the painted guys are just kind of like, they're okay. Maybe some versions are better than others, but that one was just like, oh, it's like a $1,500 game, and I mean, I'm sure everybody that bought it didn't pay that for it, but it's like, and the minis could be better. But I'd still love to have that giant box.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I had Dune, but the problem with Dune is like,
You sold the copy your brother bought you?
yeah,
And he knows that?
no, but I auctioned it off on for the Jack Vassell Memorial Auction. I'm pretty sure I talked about it on the show when I was doing it. But the Jack Vassell Memorial Auction, it like made a bunch of money for them or whatever. So
Did it do well?
yeah, it did great. It was more than it got bought for, so that's good.
But much more, or just like a little bit?
It was a lot more. But the thing is, like, when a game is worth so much money, it's like you don't even want to play it. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
Especially really old games, because it was just paper, like literally just paper. Anyway, good times. What was I gonna say? Okay, do you have any advice for new gamers that are trying to build their collection on how to find games that actually have staying power?
That have staying power.
Yeah, a game that you think that they won't necessarily have to cull in the future or won't regret buying. You know, how can they find games that they're gonna love?
If they don't have anybody in like if they're trying to start a gaming group, like let's say they don't have a gaming group and so they can't go off of anybody else's local experience. I would say if you can go online and you can find a personality, like a board game personality that most resembles yours. If you could find like a top 10 list of them, I think you'd be fine. Like to get some games in there that like, okay, these are really good. Like for example, like I'm even before I was doing the podcast or anything like that, I've always been a fan of Sam Healy. Just his attitude, just like his area control, men on the map type of a thing. I've always been a fan of that. And so, like, that's one of the reasons why I bought several games in the past, because it was games that he liked. So I would tell you, with no background and no friends or family around, I would tell you to watch some shows and see who you best correlate with the games you think you're going to like. Mm-hmm. And then jump on that. And then other games, I would say if you're near local people, try to play as many as you like. And then buy games like those games that are similar to those games. So,
yeah, for sure. Especially finding that reviewer that like matches you. You know, that's definitely super great.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I like this game, I like this game, I like this game, and they also really like those games. Maybe there's a correlation there. You know.
Yep.
But yeah, try before you buy sometimes, and that'll help you know if it's actually worth buying. So that way you don't have to buy a whole glut of games. Just if you're buying every game you see, eventually you're gonna get a bunch of stuff that's just like, oh, this is not necessarily as good as I was hoping it would be.
Hey Matt, can I ask you a weird question? It just popped in my head.
Okay.
For our scavenger hunt,
Mm-hmm.
could I put down a lock, like a piece of your hair, as one of the items?
No.
Okay. I mean, who's to say, like, I'm not going to do, like, a DNA test that somebody doesn't take their long hair that's...
I mean, I'd rather somebody take, like, a mouth swab than cut my hair.
I don't want somebody...
You're going to have people
like,
chasing Matt with scissors. All of a sudden, Matt's like, man, I don't think I'm coming to Dice Tower Con.
Because it'd be fine, except for one guy's just like, I'm not sure I understand this. And like the man bun's going, I'm like, great. Now I have to have short spiky hair again. I look like a 12-year-old.
Hey, what's wrong with short spiky hair?
Hey man, it looks good on you. It looks good on you.
I look like a 12-year-old?
No, it looks
Hey.
good on you. On me, it looks like I'm 5.
Roy, I've seen Matt with short, spiky hair. He's very cute.
Right. I'm
Very cute.
baby faced.
Kawaii.
Hello, can I
He's all
get
excited.
all this stuff?
He's gonna tackle life by the horns. I got this, guys.
Just walking into a bar in Florida. Could I get a beer? And they're like, "Son, how old?"
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh man,
Cool, guys.
I gotta come up with some crazy ideas for that.
Yeah. We're definitely going to Dice Tower Con, so make sure to hit us up there.
All
Rob's-
three of us are gonna be there.
Rob's exactly, and Rob's working on making a crazy scavenger hunt. Let me know if you need me to throw some ideas. I can think about it.
I just need to write it down. And it's going to be open to anybody, whether you're a patron or whether you're not a patron. It's going to be open to anybody that wants to play. We'll post rules and stuff on Instagram or our other social media.
We got to figure out some epic rewards for the people that complete it.
Yeah. And an epic reward may just be a hug. We may not have anything at the time because we may have run out. But I tell you what, that hug is going to feel good.
Well, I mean, it's like we have several things to give out. It's like the first like 3 people. First person to get it done gets to pick first. The second person gets to pick next. Whatever. I've got some games and some promos that people would like. It'll be fun.
I'm
We'll make
excited.
announcements. We'll make it happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be here before you know it. We're almost in
Oh, man,
June.
it's super
June is
super
next
close.
week.
Man, that's crazy.
Bro, my daughter just graduated from preschool today.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Makes me feel old.
what's her GPA?
Honestly, she does not have a GPA. However, my daughter can count to 10 in 4 languages, and she finished the school curriculum back in September.
That's
And
crazy.
so she was on an advanced curriculum throughout the rest of the year.
That's awesome.
So your daughter may be able to beat up my daughter, but then your daughter will work for my daughter in the future.
Nice.
Oh.
Awesome. Well,
Driver's permit and Mark.
we stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check us out at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. I want to say thank you so much to our amazing patrons. Thank you for supporting us over on Patreon. You help us do all the things we want to do. If you want to support us on Patreon, make sure to check out patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. Also, make sure to check out Epic Gaming Night on Twitter and Instagram. And also check out Favorite Game Friday and our reviews and previews and interviews and whatever over at the Dice Tower. A couple of my videos for CMON Expo went up over on the Dice Tower today, so it's pretty cool.
Your Eric Lang one was good too.
Oh yeah, the Eric Lang interview. But I talked about that a lot last week. It was fun. Everybody's had like super positive comments on that too, which is fun. But they don't like my Kick ASS video because I censored it, and now they're mad. Yeah, win over the crowd, then make them mad. Woohoo!
Was Darth Vader in here tonight?
Yeah.
He was.
He was just getting.
Hype. Thanks so
No,
much,
he's
everybody,
not in
for
here.
joining in. You're all the best.
Oh boy.
Oh, did he just drop us? Because I was remembering last week. He was on fire last week, and remember when I blocked him, and then he came
yeah.
back on. It was hilarious.
Oh, that was awesome.
Nah, he was here. He was making jokes at the start of the show.
And then he created a whole other profile.
Yeah.
Bye.
Oh man.
Okay.